Hello, and welcome to Dairy Processing's Equipment Deep Dive. I'm Kristen Putch, editor of Dairy Processing. I'm happy to be joined today by Jeremy Ridley, technical director at MADCAP, headquartered in Christchurch, New Zealand. Thanks for joining me today, Jeremy.
No worries. Nice to be here.
So today we're talking about MADCAP's software that digitizes the whole raw milk procurement process. Jeremy, can you first tell us about MADCAP and the customers that you're serving?
Okay, well, MADCAP is it's been around for a long time. It's been around since the early 70s. Of course, it's not the same version as it was in the early 70s, but the main concept behind MADCAP is that it obviously digitizes the supply chain. It has a very wide scope of digitizing, the supply chain, and it's very flexible and all-encompassing. So, in terms of customers we're serving global customers like Nestle all around the world in all sorts of different languages and different tax jurisdictions, all types of things like that. So we've been doing that for a number of years now, and we have 50 years experience in the dairy industry. We've been managing milk quality in New Zealand for 50 years now. We have extensive experience in the United States, so we've been present in that market for 15 years with some very well-known brands like Land of Lakes and Tillamook, etc.
So, from a processor's perspective, what does true digitization look like in milk procurement, and how does MADCAP go beyond simply replacing paper?
Okay, so obviously a proper system has got to replace all of the paper, right? So, but the digitization process involves everything being digitized from the farm to the factory. Okay, so that includes collection of data either using on-truck equipment or mobile devices, that type of thing, allowing different players into the ecosystem. So you're talking haulers and producers, everybody being able to access data in real time related to the supply chain, including, of course, the processors who need that information for goods receiving into their ERPs to make their production plans, and all of that traceability result. I mean, all of that digitization, I guess, results in great traceability, right? So if you've got the velocity of the data moving through the supply chain all in one system, with everybody being able to access it and all the movements being traced, that's one of the key aspects of digitizing the supply chain, is to achieve the proper traceability and auditability of the supply chain data.
So, there's a lot of companies that are now investing in AI and analytics. How does MADCAP's open data access set processors up to use their own tools and avoid vendor lock in?
Okay, so MADCAP has always been a open platform, if you like. We have always chosen to allow or provide people with the tools that they need to do their own analysis, because of course we can't predict what people want to do with data, and so we make it all available. uh, for us, we have a SQL database that we make available, which is fully documented, and people have been utilizing that for, I'm going to say, 20 years to perform their own analysis. Well before Power BI was available, they used different tools, but Power BI is obviously used now, and Tableau and a bunch of others. So moving on into the age of AI, if you like, um, the requirement for AI, as I understand it, is a clean data set that is available, which is not always the case, so that the correct data can be analysed, and the AI tools can use real time data. Okay, and so that's a requirement, and that's what we provide. And if you look around, the vendor lock-in issue is a major issue, and that's a major impediment to the successful implementation of any sort of analytics, be it AI or not.
So, reporting is often where digital systems fall short. Jeremy, can you walk us through how built in real time reporting in MADCAP helps processors manage compliance and traceability and performance all in one place?
Yeah, well, that's what you're saying is very true. A lot of systems do not provide adequate BAU type reporting, if you like, and it's a major strength of MADCAP. It's something that we've always provided. So the reasoning behind that is that reporting on such large data sets that the dairy industry often has is very important. It's very important that that's accurate and repeatable, if you like. And so we've always provided standard BAU reporting, which is parameterized, which flexes with the configuration of the system to allow people to do what they need to do without going and asking their IT people to generate reports in Power BI or whatever. We make sure those reports are there, that they're working and that they're accurate, and so that the business processes that need to be done can be done without site involvement. And so we provide a suite of about 800 of them. Okay, and so they are all there, they all work, and they all perform their purpose. The reason that we provide the SQL and open data access on top is for the executive type uh, reporting that they may need to do, or specific requirements that they have for reporting. That's what that is for. Our normal reporting is standard, available to everybody, and very accurate.
So, obviously, every dairy operation runs differently. How flexible is MADCAP when it comes to fitting into existing workflows, and what kind of customizations do processors typically ask for?
Okay, so you're correct. The Every company is different. Every country is different. So the dairy industry doesn't work in the same way in America as it does in South America or New Zealand or Australia or Europe. Everybody has their own ways of doing things. Everybody has their own laws with respect to milk quality and how milk is collected and traceability requirements. All those things are different. And so what we did with MADCAP, obviously we made it very, very flexible. And so a lot of the nuances between companies and countries are configurable. Okay, and so people build their configuration for quality or for payroll or for whatever in the system mainly is configurable. And so what we end up with in terms of modifications that we have to do during a implementation would be connections into their ERP systems, which are not always standard because you often have an implementer in the middle that has their own idea about integration, and so you have to integrate with the implementer. But we have to make that as simple as we can to do that. But the good thing about knowing about all of the things that go on in these countries is that we've added certain functionalities to the system that can be used or cross-pollinated, I guess, between countries. Other countries pick up functionality that we've developed for a different geography and use it in their systems as time goes on. So our customers have a lot of leverage to change once they've done their digitization process. I guess they have a lot of leverage to change and improve over time because flexibility of the system.
So, Jeremy, looking ahead, how do you see platforms like MADCAP positioning companies for future regulatory and technology shifts, especially around traceability and AI driven supply chain optimization?
For a platform like MADCAP, I think MADCAP is would be one of the very few platforms around which is a fully integrated system running from a shared data repository. Okay, a lot of the other systems you'll see around are separate systems integrated together behind the scenes, so that's not always the best approach, or it does not work well for auditing purposes and compliance and things like that, where you have multiple systems talking together and no single source of truth. So MADCAP has the advantage of being a single source of truth, and it has a high level of auditability and a high level of openness. So if you are audited for compliance purposes, our audits are always clean. I know Nestle referred to our ability to do that as an intangible benefit that they did not realize, and the the costs for them to audit each of their countries in terms of what they're doing in the supply chain has become a lot less expensive because of their implementation of a consolidated platform like MADCAP, and that's something that they did not see or perceive when they commenced on the implementation journey.
Well, thank you so much for sharing all of this with us, Jeremy. If our viewers are interested in learning more about MADCAP solutions, you can visit madcapdairysoftware.com. That is all the time we have for today. Jeremy, I appreciate you taking the time to talk with me about MADCAP solutions for dairy
Thank you, no
processors.
problem.
And thank you for watching Dairy Processing's Equipment Deep Dive.